T.Y. stole all my verses.
Yeah!
I'm just kidding, I had like...
translation? You know, it's literal translation?
Yeah, alright. So... It's like so like epic with all the spotlight now. So we're going to start in Psalms 103, shocker. But, so for the past like, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks, I've been kind of having like a hot mess of a month. So I'm a nurse in a psychiatric hospital. So that is just that in general. You know, it's just a very spiritually suppressive place. And you just walk into the door and you're like, man, I'm so happy I have hope. And sometimes you have the opportunity to talk to patients about God, and sometimes you don't. And the devil just has like a field day in that place. When I'm not there. So the past 2 weeks I spent like 90 hours there in like a week and a half. And like I did like an 18-hour day because my relief never showed up. And I was just like, what is wrong with people? Like, if you don't like your job, quit. Just don't like not show up. Like I can't leave because that's patient abandonment. And I'm like, no, you know, it's cool. I'll just work 18 hours. And this is when I was like legit like crazy people. Like my schizophrenics, and they're just I was like, all right, God, I need some sort of peace today. And then I would like come home, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then my husband's asleep. I'm like, my roommate's asleep. My dog's not asleep, so don't worry. But I can only talk to Nemo for so long without looking a little crazy. So I come home at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. My husband's asleep, and he's actually leaving in 2 weeks for like a year and a half in Afghanistan and all this like that. So I was all like super bummed. I'm like, it's 4 a.m. And then like the past couple days, like everything just like hit me all at once. I was just like a mess. I was just like, like didn't know. I was a hot mess. You know, you wake up in the morning, your hair's like, and if you wear makeup, your makeup's halfway down your face. That was me like for like 3 days. So I go to work thinking like, okay, I get it. I'm gonna be a good nurse, and I'm gonna have compassion. Then I come home and I'm all like super drained, and I'm like, I have nothing left in me. And then Thursday night I had like 4 or 5 like meltdowns. And then I had the opportunity for a couple of believers to come and approach me. Just, you know, God put it on their hearts to come and talk to me 3 different times, and they all said basically the same thing, which was nice. And it was just God just, you know, encouraging me and showing compassion through them. And they all mentioned this one teaching of this believer, for those of you who know Aaron Schaefer. He did this teaching on like patience and God's strength in like super crappy situations. And so after like 3 different people told me this, it's like midnight, and I'm like, fine, all right, God, I'll listen to this teaching. It was only like 15 minutes long, and then I listened to it like 8 times. And then I posted it on my Facebook wall. And I was just like, yeah, God, that's what I needed. And then I had another meltdown. But then it like made me go back to God and just His true love and His just individual love for us, and for the promises that God like lays out. And just having His peace and His strength and His protection, both physically, emotionally, just everything. And just having His like true compassion. And then I kept reading the theme verse, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to teach. And then I read it again. And then I read it again. And then I posted something on my Facebook wall. And then I read it again. And I was like, all right, this whole compassion, mercy thing, T.Y. set me up. That's what I call Taylor, in case you didn't get that. And it kind of goes along the same concept of that mercy and that compassion. So let's start with verse 4. So I'm going to be swimming back and forth because I can't pronounce King James like my sister. So we're going to be doing a lot of ESV. So Psalm 103 verse 4 says, "Who redeemed thy life from destruction, who crowns thee with loving kindness and tender mercies." In the ESV it says steadfast love. So that concept of mercy is steadfast love. And those just are so interchangeable. Flip over to verse 8. It says, "The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger and plenteous to mercy." And then I think of that concept of slow to anger. I don't have any children. I am a newlywed. So slow to anger still comes into play. Especially at work. Actually, I find it easier sometimes to be slower to anger at work. Sometimes. But
Amen, Matt. Me and you.
Poor Matt. His life is so hard.
Thank you for your tender mercies. And
Yeah. You are so welcome. That like,
Classics, that's a good sign.
saying where it's like you're never childless if you have a husband.
Yay!
Case in point. Okay. Verse 11. "For as the heaven is high above the earth, so great is thy mercy towards them that fear him." Verse 13. "Like as a father pitieth his children, as the Lord pitieth them that fear him." And that word pitieth is compassion. That's just, I don't like the word pitieth. It makes you feel like, so I like compassion better. It just makes feelings better in my brain. Verse 17. "But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him, and his righteousness unto children's children." And that's steadfast love again, from everlasting to everlasting, or age to age, or generation to generation, whatever concept of time you want to put in there. Flip over to Psalms 100. In verse 5 it says, "For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations." Same concept, two different ways of saying it. Go to Psalms 56. Verse 1. It says, "Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up. His fighting daily oppresses me. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they are many, and fight against me, O thou most high. What time am I afraid? I will trust in thee. In God I will praise his word, in God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me." And that's a really cool concept, like every time I walk into work. So I'm just like, alright, God, I'm gonna keep everything chill today. I don't have to be afraid. I know I have peace and I have the authority over devil spirits, and I have that merciful and grace that you've really given me. Psalm 57 verse 1 says, "Be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusts in thee. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge, until these calamities be overpast. I will cry unto God most high, and to God that performs things for me. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up. God shall send forth his mercy and his truth." So I also Googled definitions. But my favorite definition is from Urban Dictionary. Dictionary defines mercy as the one thing Chuck Norris does not know the meaning of. So when you're thinking of mercy, you should possibly think of that.
Chuck Norris.
Go to Psalm 86. We already read this, but we'll read it again because it's awesome. See? They know about Chuck Norris. So Psalms 86. 86. What did I say? 36? That's a good one too. Go to 86. Verse 14. We're going to start there. O God, the proud are risen against me, and the assembled of violent men have sought after my soul, and have not set thee before them. Sounds like David was having a crappy day. David was probably a little bit of a hot mess. But, in verse 15, where it says the word but thou, O Lord, art a God full of compassion and gracious, long-suffering and plenteous in mercy and truth. So, I already read you the Urban Dictionary of mercy. Urban Dictionary of compassion says something only the truly hardcore and awesome people possess.
Amen.
So that could be us. We could be those truly hardcore and awesome people because we have God's compassion. The real dictionary, I guess, says being full of compassion is being tender, gentle, to feel for, sympathetic, or concerned for sufferings of others. You have that full, just, you feel for the person. Go to Psalms 111. Verse 4. He has made his wonderful works to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion. In Psalms 145, it mentions that the Lord is gracious, full of compassion, slow to anger, and rich of mercy. Feel a theme coming on here? Great compassion, slow to anger. Mercy. We're still thinking about Chuck Norris. Go to Lamentations 3. Because we'll read this one again. Because this is just another good one. So, Lamentations 3, verse 21 says, This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. So they fail not. Like, just understanding that concept of his compassion and mercy not failing ever. That's it. Go to 1 Peter 3. Maybe go to the New Testament. So, 1 Peter. That's not 1 Peter. Okay, 1 Peter 3, verse 8 says, Finally be all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courageous. Or instead of pitiful, be compassionate. So how are we supposed to put on that concept every single day? You know, you go to work or class or school or traffic, and you're like, how can I put on this idea of just having day-to-day compassion? How does God Joshua chapter 1. So when I think of the fact that, we're all human, we all kind of suck sometimes, but that we really have that renewed mind aspect, that new man nature that we really can put forth out and share with others, especially, just walking down the street. And then it just reminds me of Joshua 1:9, where it talks about, it says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." So God's with you every step of the way. If you need that extra compassion, or you need that extra love or reproof or anything, God's with you every step of the way. We're going to close in 2 Corinthians chapter 1. But it adds that perspective that, from age to age, or everlasting to everlasting, or I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything else that you did the other. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3 says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction, with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." It's a whole lot of comfort in one word. So that's that concept that God's with you no matter what. And then it says that you can comfort others in the affliction, because you have that comfort that God really has, that compassion, that mercy, and knowing that we can share that with others, and just be reminded as, fellow believers in one body, that we have God's strength and we have that aspect of, whether it's, just someone needs, a power burst. Ooh, Joshua 1:9. Ooh. God's mercies are with you every single day, and it's the fact that we can be really comforted by that, knowing that we can share that with others. Whether, people who have the hope of Christ's return, or you can share that hope of Christ's return, and just knowing that, this is but for a moment, and that, God's strength is really with you every single day, and that we can be strong and of a good